Right, so officially, club football, back. A big one in terms of the Ebabe after say Yako international break now. But and mind you, after international break, there are going to be a lot of games because Ebabe Ball League this weekend, and then we play two games. We'll play Champions League, come back and play the League Champions League again before if there's going to be an international break, it's going to be in October. So really exciting games to my because, but it's interesting how Chelsea are leading Madrid in one of these metrics now. Very important according to the Opta analyst who delve into some data and how Chelsea are leading Real Madrid in that metric. And of course, there's an update on our brand here. Your friend MUDRYK, or we'll talk about him. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, turn on notification, in the notification turn and do choose all. Just so anytime there's content here, you are first to have it on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Of course, if you're an investor, then already you know. We've been doing it for 7 days straight. Each day, there's a boom. Each day, there's a boom. And that's exactly what we do over here. I used to tell you before, that over here, it's pure data, pure analysis, and that is all. If anybody comes to you and says that there's any other group, whatever, called Fiifi, whatever, I mean, you know the only approved groups. Only follow the links that I give you on the various social media handles or what I put here. You know my official social media handles. Go over there and then use those links. Don't go and follow anybody for them to tell that there's a fixed code or pay any money. It doesn't happen like that. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, pick up the codes and go and win. And of course, let's get straight into it. So, spare parts up. Then it's about so kind. It's Yesumo Spare Parts Dealership Shop. They are the best place for spare parts. They are on my numbers where you know so 0200 the friend is 05 Yesumo 0593138221. That is Yesumo's numbers, and of course MOB clothing there 0200 668 0200 668 708. You didn't come on. Where do we go from? And in the last few days, a lot of the former Chelsea people have been talking about Chelsea club, you know, where they are coming from, the interesting things about the club or project. Dennis Wise has been talking about it as well. And there has been a lot of conversation, I mean, as to what the plan is going forward, especially after international break, the big good one. And he said the update on Cole Palmer is good. In fact, this morning, Matt Law is saying, those people who are worried about Cole Palmer, no, they shouldn't be worried. According to Matt Law, Cole Palmer essentially is fine. They said that he's fine. Now, the last time he did inquiries about Cole Palmer, they told him that he shouldn't worry too much about Cole because it was just precautionary. Cole Palmer is going to be back. In fact, there are some training videos that and pictures that Chelsea for release here that didn't have Cole Palmer. But when you sneak deep, you see that Cole Palmer share baby. So Cole is obviously fine. He is good. He is in good spirits at Chelsea Football Club. And it looks as if the game against Brentford this weekend, Saturday evening, you know, they are Brentford friend Cole Palmer is going to be right there to be in the mix of the conversation. Not Chelsea foreigner didn't come on, of course. They'll talk about everything that he has to do. We'll get straight into the Cole Palmer conversation about your analysis and how important it's going to be in the day. This is why I say I am genuinely excited about the new Chelsea regime. These young signings, the minimum expectation this season is to be a Champions League spot and hopefully more. Chelsea should be aiming to at least win a domestic trophy and push hard for the Champions League. They want to be real contenders over there. And of course, I think that is the thing. And Enzo Maresca is setting the groundwork for it. There are certain players who did not go for the international break that I think that was going to be very good for them. One of them is Enzo Fernandez. And in the first 3 games that Chelsea are born, Enzo Fernandez looks like he looks like he was a little bit tired. He looked a little bit lethargic. He looked like he needed rest in that regard. And it looks as if that is something that he has been able to get in the 2 weeks that he has gone on a break from the national team and then also not traveled and certain times Chelsea for Enzo Maresca, man, freedom, so on rest. It has been a very, very good one for Brent here, Enzo Fernandez in that regard. And Matt Law gave an update also again on our brand here, your friend Liam Delap. He says that the club aren't fully certain still on exactly how long it is going to be for. I know that there was a scan on Monday, but Chelsea was still waiting for further scans to absolutely be sure the time scale of the hamstring injury. According to the Athletic gave us between 9 to 10 weeks. Liam Delap is going to be out, and somewhere in November, we're expecting that Liam Delap is going to be back on the training grounds or in a Juma or Honum to make sure so we Chelsea 14, something that's very, very interesting in that regard. We'll see how things are going to go on in terms of Liam Delap, more conversation and the quality that Liam Delap brings to the team. We'll see exactly it's going to be like. William Gallas say, I think anyone who comes up against Chelsea will be afraid, and they know how much Chelsea have won this year. I think they have got a great opportunity to prove themselves and go very far in the Champions League. And I think that's going to be huge for Chelsea, because this season, Chelsea going to the Champions League as one of the teams that you should be wary of. And I've said it several times. It doesn't matter that they were not the best team among Champions League in last season, or we are just in the league. No, it is purely this is a team that you need to be careful of. From the Conference League, the Club World Cup to English Premier League, this is absolutely a team that you need to be very, very wary of. And yes, idea you are going to be a lot of trouble. And the big question of the day is, do you start a brand friend Alejandro Garnacho, because he has been training with the team for 2 weeks with Enzo Maresca? Isn't it enough to start a brand friend Alejandro Garnacho or Chelsea anymore, manner? Because that's exactly why he was bought. William Gallas spoke about a brand friend Alejandro Garnacho. And I say what we all know is that Garnacho will want to show on the pitch he wants to succeed at Chelsea. He will want to win his place in the starting 11. Everyone is happy when they sign for Chelsea, but clearly nobody's guaranteed the starting spot. And I think that is a very, very good thing for Enzo Maresca. Maresca doesn't hand out the starting spots to anybody for free. You work for it. If you are somebody that comes into the team and you are willing to work, you are willing to really, really put in the effort and then work harder. A brand here friend of Alejandro Garnacho, Enzo Maresca is going to give you that. They will make sure that you work harder. They will make sure that they give you that ability to be able to come in and come and do their job for them, come and deliver, on the field of play in terms of what you have to give the team. It's important for Enzo Maresca to be able to give all of those things in terms of where a player is going to be, the quality that he brings to the team, how much that player is going to be a honor, and that's exactly what we're expecting. Say, Branche friend Alejandro Garnacho is going to have our Chelsea team. It's interesting. We'll see how things are going to go on for them. But this interesting statistics before we talk about our data on Madrid and Chelsea. Chelsea have scored from 4 out of 22 corners they have taken this season, equating 18.18%. But after managing only 7 out of 234 last season, 2.99% all on. So there's an improvement in Chelsea set pieces. It comes from my brand here, your friend Bernardo Cueva, who we've mentioned his name several times here. Bernardo Cueva has made it very, very, very easy for Chelsea to be able to play set piece and use set piece as a way of scoring goals. It's important. Joko, I say Chelsea are the dark horses in the Champions League. I would put them in a bracket just at the top of the dark horses and bottom of the teams who might expect to be in the latter stages of the Champions League. And that's exactly what Joko has a challenge. If it comes to this season Champions League, they are and the all teams are only qualify competition or the Chelsea Betosa area baby, and he believes that Chelsea team is good enough to be able to compete in that regard and then get the results in that area. He says that Joko sees that Chelsea can do that job in that area. It's very, very important that Chelsea get a job. And he says that it will depend. It depends, I think, on the performance of the goalkeeper Robert Sanchez. That was one of area of the pitch. If you ask Chelsea fans where they needed to improve, they will say go to a goalkeeper and get that job done in that area of the pitch. That is what Joe Cole is talking about Chelsea in the Champions League and the updates, of course, when it comes to him. Michael Richards, the last few days has been talking about Reece James because Charlie Reece is absolutely outstanding. According to Michael Richards, Reece too outstanding. The quality that Reece brings into games he hasn't seen some before. He says that for him, he believes strongly that Reece James is probably one of the best players in that regard, and he wants to make sure, say, in terms of fullback there, things are going to go on very, very well. I will see how things are going to go on. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube again. Especially in the concept of what a supercomputer is saying. So yesterday we heard that the Opta supercomputer sat down After supercomputer at Arsenal, one of the things that they've come in and they started to talk about is the fact that they've given percentages of the number of teams that can win the Champions League this season. And one of the things that they are saying is that Liverpool are on top with 20% the probability of winning the Champions League. Arsenal 16%. Two English Premier League clubs leading. Paris Saint-Germain 12%. Almost on them. Barcelona 8% on them. Manchester City 8%. Chelsea 7%. Real Madrid 6%. So after analysis saying that in terms of the statistics of possibly winning the Champions League this season, Liverpool are on top with 20.4%. And in that, MUDRYK is starting down. They say that the probability of Liverpool going to the final is 34%, semi-final 51.5%, quarter-final 72.7%. That's the ranking. They say that Arsenal were 88% of making it to the quarter-finals or the Champions League. They say that Arsenal were 44.8% in making it to the semi-final. Arsenal were 27.6% in making it to the final. And they have 16% of winning. They say that Paris Saint-Germain, who are third, they were 57.6% of making it to the quarter-final, 37.3% of making it to the semi-final, 22.3% of making it to the final, and 12.1% of making it, of winning it. They say that Barcelona, who are fifth, were 51.3% of making it to the quarter-final, 28.5% of making it to the semi-final. They have 16.4% of making it to the final and 8.4% of making it to the of winning it. No, I'm saying Chelsea and it also sit. Chelsea and it also sit on the side table. No? They say that Chelsea has 51.3% of making it to the quarter-final. So quarter-final here, about league phase, no, or qualify whether through play or whether through normal routes, then you go to round of 16. I'm saying Chelsea best share. So round of 16 now quarter final. We go do quarter final the percentage is about 28.5%. So we do semi-final. After who the compares other teams on the show now, it's the closest to Barcelona, 29.5%. Of course, or see if you call it semi-final, Chelsea were 15% of getting the semi-final. And a final on also Belgium or 7%. Madrid ne done on 7th. In rankings when it comes to Chelsea, where they are going to be in terms of the club, the Champions League starting in the next few years. Makani several times Chelsea bought the opening game against my friend FC Bayern Munich. A huge conversation for Chelsea for in terms of the next opening game on Bababo inside Bayern Munich game. It's very, very interesting. The higher group, a Chinese sleeves, a Chinese company, a lot of appliances, the hair, and the Chelsea for any in an agreement. And in that agreement, I'm not Chelsea sleeve sponsor. So on the show, I did announce that there was an update on Chelsea for no sleeve sponsorship deal. The sleeve sponsorship deal, and the news has come out is going to be the higher group. I'm a Chinese company. I'm appliances. Your friend is saying rice cooker. All of these appliances. That's what they do, and these are the teams that are going to have their logo on Chelsea shoulder. Still, the front share sponsorship, Chelsea for are still negotiating. They want something that they say the best price on the market. They want to be able to compete with the big boys. Matisse Qatar Airways, any Riyadh Air. Those are the two companies that are fighting for who becomes the Chelsea front shirt sponsor or Chelsea Football Club on them, and we'll see how things are going to go on from there. Enzo Maresca say now what they say. Moises Caicedo in the red card against Ecuador. And I say I phoned Moises yesterday to return to Chelsea in one piece after Dario Sugo got injured. I didn't ask him about the red card. I want to say Charlie. Dario Sugo. So now he's dependent on Abrantia, your friend Moises Caicedo. Let's give an update. Updates on Abrantia, your friend Abrantia friend Mihailo MUDRYK. Everybody knows the story of MUDRYK. MUDRYK essentially was the finding I mean, preliminarily guilty on say drug charges, be doping charges, be so I don't know nobody be there. And of course, since then he hasn't been able to play for Chelsea. Now, after a lot of the investigation, they've realized that such substance not fire of our Ukrainian national team camp. Almost Ukrainian national team camp. No be and sending the BB and OD and an Asadi in the room. Now, because of that, there's a journalist in Ukraine who has done some more investigation and what they are doing is Shakhtar Donetsk, which is the parent club of team and your friend of a brand friend Mihailo Mudryk. Shakhtar Fone said they are going to do investigations into the matter. Now, almost say Shakhtar Donetsk are preparing a lawsuit against Ukrainian FA. Say Mihailo Mudryk, Saadi na obi elesi na dia no fire. Ama ene landed into trouble. No, I see what Ukrainian national team camp. Almost say if it is confirmed the player received banned substances while in the national team camp, the club urges that due to the potential suspicion, they could lose up to 30 million in performance-related bonuses from Chelsea. The report also states that the president of the UAF, Andrei Shevchenko, may be directly involved in the case of Mudryk allegedly using a substance of meldonium. And it's very, very interesting with the updates of him. It's an update in terms of how Chelsea will say one year. Mihailo Mudryk has stole it, and then the club that he's coming from, which is the Ukrainian Shakhtar Donetsk club, they would want to at least sue the Ukrainian FA, sue them and then make money from them. Let them know say Mihailo Mudryk we'll see how things are going to go on from there when it comes to Abrantia, your friend Mihailo Mudryk. We'll get into all of that conversation. We'll delve into all of those things that were asked on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Of course, I want to subscribe to the channel now. Subscribe and turn on notification. Just say so anytime there's content, you are first to have it, or I say on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Let's get straight into the rest of the other things now. As he did the home come up at the moment, especially with respect to other football clubs and PALMER back in training. The picture has resurfaced finally in terms of PALMER back in training. Chelsea Fono are happy to have him. Happy pa. So many are brand here, your friend PALMER, because of course PALMER brings a lot of quality Chelsea Football Club. Matt Law in a couple of minutes ago say, I do believe that once Nicholas Jackson wasn't being sold and was being loaned, albeit with a big loan fee, that bringing a player for a fee became trickier. And of course was very important. So Chelsea Fono, they didn't want to bring in a player when they are not fully confirmed the sale of a brand here, your friend Nicholas Jackson. They would want to make sure that Nicholas Jackson is fully sold just so they can also bring in the next quality of teams. Of course, Chelsea next set of games. We've mentioned Brentford, Bayern Munich, Man United, Lincoln City, Brighton and Hove Albion, Chelsea, Benfica, and of course on October 4th, Chelsea play against Liverpool before the international break. I mean, huge set of games that is incoming in the next few days for Chelsea Football Club. In terms of the games that are going to go on, we'll see how things are going to go on from there. We'll have the conversations in and around Chelsea Fono and the preparation for the games next year. We'll have all of that conversation detailed was on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Of course, in other news, because by now Barca fans I'm saying, hey, Charlie, the Chelsea is too much. Let's talk about some news from Football Club Barcelona, certain things on Football Club Barcelona. Now, Barca hyped early on Camp Nou return, but promises kept failing. The Gampa match of 60,000 never happened, and even 27,000 by late September is uncertain. The club must be set for real deadlines, explain limits, and respect the socials for fair pricing and stop selling illusions of course to them. I've said it several times. Barca are in such a bad place, and what Juan Laporta is doing, it's not good to Barcelona fans. For you to be able to, get to the point where okay, fine, your club, you are going to get to this point over here, you must say, return it to the Spotify company, and everyday stories. Every day there are stories of Football Club Barcelona and they are returned to the Spotify Camp Nou. We'll see how things are going to go on from there. Fermin Lopez never decided to join Chelsea, according to Sport, but he had doubts. He decided to stay at Barcelona for sure after a meeting with Hansi-Dieter Flick, in which the manager said how important Fermin Lopez was for him. According to them, Charlie, Fermin, he never really wanted to leave Chelsea Football Club. Oh no, why not? They say, not now, no bet na Barca. And no bet na Barca, they are. Then it was always going to be a tough one. He would only about your friend Hansi-Dieter Flick have a conversation. Obviously, once they were there, then it began to pop up. A big chance for one Garcia, of course, in the next coming of games. Or Max Verstappen, he's a Dutch F1 driver. He said that Lamine Yamal will be a Ballon d'Or winner in a couple of years. I think he's a Barcelona fan. I love Hansi-Dieter Flick's Barcelona. He talks about them. Mundo Deportivo. I like Hansi Flick's Barcelona, and that is a brand new friend, Max Verstappen. Verstappen, a Dutch man who is an F1 driver. I think Verstappen is with white people. He's a Red Bull now. That is the quality. We'll see how things are going to go on from there. Nikki Nicole says she's very much in love with Lamine Yamal. Also, no, some story na mokaso Franco Mastantuano ne sani manimano. Also, no, any Franco Mastantuano. She's not about Franco Mastantuano. Bia on the DNA Lamine Lamar Ibanez Nazraoui, top down, and on the CIES has predicted that Real Madrid as favorites to win the La Liga this season. CIES are predicting Real Madrid as favorites to win the Spanish La Liga this season. That is interesting. Frankie de Jong will be fully fit and ready for Newcastle challenge, for Football Club Barcelona in the next few weeks, of course. We all heard of the story of Frankie's injury and his return, his possible return, and how Barcelona say that they don't want to put too much pressure on our brand friend and Frankie de Jong. Tomorrow, Barcelona fans will know if UEFA has the authority to allow Villarreal match happen to be played in Miami or not. That is in the Copa del Rey games. We'll see how the demand from members of Valencia match tickets is very high and far exceed the number of available tickets. So the club will conduct a draw to determine which members will be able to attend the match. Charlie, what a joke. What a joke. Juan Garcia has moved to a new home closer to the Barcelona training center. Of course, that is good. He'll be able to get close to Barcelona and then, of course, enjoy his football, have his family close, and then, of course, make sure say Bibia come pa and then brand here your friend Juan Garcia. I'm saying before signing for Barcelona, Juan Garcia could walk around a city without being recognized. That has now completely changed for brand here your friend Juan Garcia. Of course, that is a top player for Football Club Barcelona. He's an important player for Football Club Barcelona, and we'll see how things are going to go on that side of Football Club Barcelona and the conversation that goes on around Barcelona. It's interesting. We'll see how things are going to go. Renchemeni has spoken about Xabi Alonso, and I say, Charlie, he is very much impressed with coach and friend Xabi Alonso. Jude Bellingham is back in training. Trent Alexander-Arnold is back in training. In 3 days, Madrid gets back to football. Madrid are back into football. Xabi Alonso has a lot of confidence in Eduardo Camavinga. When he comes back, he's expected to have a lot of minutes. That is my friend Eduardo Camavinga. Ada Güler is a key player for Xabi Alonso and will start many matches even after Jude Bellingham comes in. I've said it several times that Ada is very important to Xabi Alonso, and Madrid are almost finalizing the deal for our friend Ibrahim Akonate, and Ambassador for and try some sorting out. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Let us drop the curtain. We'll be back with you in the next few hours. Until then, do take care. Adios.